pretty sure.
Yeah!
Gotta get their fast shot.
Yeah!
Gotta get their fast shot!
Hello Britball Nation and welcome to the Power Rankings following Week 8 of the BAFA Adult National Leagues. Before we crack on with the rankings themselves, remember that you too can contribute to the growth of the game by liking and sharing these videos, submitting highlights of big plays from the weekend, or help DC become sustainable by heading to gofundme.com/dblcoverage. We want to keep bringing you 7 days a week of all things Britball, but the reality is without the community support, we're counting down the weeks before we have to scale things back. All that said, let's jump into the rankings. Let's put this one out there right away. The games this past weekend ended up pretty much as expected, which means as much as we enjoy shaking things up each week in our power rankings, we couldn't actually find a reason to shift around a single team this week. Nope, not one. As such, don't expect to see any movement in these rankings just yet, and even with 4 fixtures in the top tier next weekend, we're getting to the point in the season where clear frontrunners appear to have emerged in each conference. But all that said, let's take a look at each of the teams. The Giants took a pounding against the Phoenix at the weekend, pitching their 3rd offensive shutout of the season so far. Week 9 sees them face a Wolves side that's shown a lot of firepower in recent weeks, so it's likely to be a big ask for the Giants to turn over their 31-0 loss in their season opener.
10.
With a heavy loss to the Bury Saints once again, it appears more and more likely that Farnham will be wooden spooning in the Prem South this year. They've got 4 home fixtures in their remaining 5 games, but with an average margin of loss of 36 points so far this year, it's going to be a big ask for the Knights to turn things around in the second half of their campaign.
9.
If Lancashire's last couple of games were to end at half time, the Wolverines would actually be looking fairly competitive this season. As is, 2 second half collapses leave them winless and risking a drop to Division 1 balling. They face the Nighthawks this weekend and will need to show more resilience if they intend to pick up their first win of the year.
8.
Merseyside are putting up points certainly, but conceding far too many at the same time. 92 points conceded in their last 2 outings, including a shootout loss to the Wolves at the weekend. They'll look to get back on track with a win against the Wolverines in Week 9, but any more slip-ups will likely see the Nighthawks fall short of poaching a 2nd straight Premiership playoff berth.
7.
A strong second half from the Pirates saw them save face against the Wolverines. They've got a bye week before the biggest test of the season so far, taking on the Phoenix in Tamworth. It's likely a make or break fixture for the Scots side if they are to have any hopes of reclaiming a conference crown, as the Pirates are still not showing the dominant form we've come to expect from them in past seasons.
6.
The Wolves offense has been on form in the last couple of weeks, and this Saturday we'd be expecting a similarly impressive scoreline as they welcome the Giants north of the Wall. The fixture represents the final game of the Wolves' 5 straight home bouts however, so the crunch time really starts in Week 13, where the Wolves will likely need to win out on the road if they have hopes of playoffs in their first season in the Prem.
5.
A dominant win from the Saints over the Knights, and Bury now head into a bye week. They return in Week 10 for back-to-back trips to the number 1 ranked London Blitz, but likely the decisive games of their season will be their touts against the Bristol Aztecs in Weeks 13 and 16.
4.
Heading into the 4th quarter, trailing by only a single score against the reigning national champions, there were echoes of the Aztecs' shock come from behind win against the Blitz in 2016. The Warriors had other ideas however, stamping their authority on the game in the final quarter. Bristol head to Blitz this Sunday and will hope to repeat last year's heroics, but it's going to be a big ask against an on-form Blitz team.
3.
Continuing to extend their lead atop the Prem North, the Phoenix put in a comprehensively strong performance against the Giants. They fell shy of a 50 burger, but a shutout from the defense speaks volumes. Next up is their crucial first matchup against the Pirates in Week 10.
2.
They're still not looking as convincing as we've come to expect from them, but it says a lot that they were really able to turn on the burners when they needed to in the 4th quarter against the Aztecs. The national champs travel to Farnham in Week 9 and will get another chance to see if they're beginning to refine their mojo on offense against a Knights side that is really struggling to keep pace in the top tier.
1.
There was no game for the top ranked Blitz in Week 8, but Week 9 sees them welcome the Bristol Aztecs at Finsbury Park, while I hope not to see a repeat of last year's shock upset in this fixture. Of course, the big matchups they'll have circled on their calendar already are the 2 further meetings with the Warriors in Weeks 13 and 17. And there you have it nation, the rankings for Week 8 of the BAFA National Leagues. As always, we're really trying to start a conversation with these videos, so if you think we're not giving the team the credit they're due, tell us about it. Give this video a like if you like it, a share on Facebook or a retweet on Twitter, as it only takes seconds but it really helps us out in spreading Britball to the widest possible audience. The scoop is on its way for Week 8, but with some of the recent events we've had to add some extra bits in. And in the meantime, of course, as always, play hard, play safe, And make sure you check out details of the Jaguars Academy coaches for this year's camp shared on our YouTube channel. It's a pretty impressive roster.